Hi. There have been reports of something going on in the water.
Is this the stretch of water?
Which, as we know in Fontaine,
It looks really peaceful.
Land of Hydra, water is the most dangerous
There's some footprints
foe.
over there.
Footprints extend all the way into the water.
Did the water imp get someone again? Let's look around and see if we can find anything else.
Pretty sure that's just Fremine walking into the water.
Wait, did you hear something just now?
Thought I heard bubbles. Oh, I'm sorry. They're gurgling noises. Apparently to me, gurgling noises and bubbles are the same noise. Oh, look.
What is that? Don't come any closer!
You know who it is. It's not like it's the first time we've seen him like this. I think? Yeah, that's the Archon quest. Fremine.
I'm sorry. I forgot I was still wearing this.
You just got out of the water. How did you forget that?
Fremine!
Paimon, are you okay?
Paimon nearly mistook you for a water imp. Thank goodness it was just you wearing your helmet.
That doesn't look anything like an imp.
Huh? A water imp?
We're investigating a water imp called Thelxie.
Thelxie, you say? How surprising.
Huh? You know that name too? Or do you know someone else who's trying to investigate the water imp?
No, I think our situations are probably unrelated.
Then could you tell us about what's going on with you?
Sure, if that's in order.
What?
I know the name because of one of my employers. She noticed the clockwork penguins I brought to the workshop and contacted me through the shop's owner. She has commissioned me to make a special toy.
Oh, I'm sure these are
Following her
unrelated.
request, I've named the toy Thelxie.
Well,
Huh?
okay, it could be a coincidence, but what are the chances?
Creepy to name a toy after a water imp? Wait, hold on. Fremine, you never take commissions from other people.
Yeah, but, she made a special request, but out of respect for her privacy, I can't really talk about it. It's alright though. She'll be coming over to check on my progress shortly, and I'll just tell her that you're two of my trustworthy companions. Hearing that, she might be willing to share some information, and you'll be able to continue with your investigation.
Huh. Even though you seem a little cold and reserved sometimes, you're still really considerate. Our target isn't necessarily the water imp, though. We're primarily here to investigate.
Does
the
he seem
disappearance of
cold?
the fish.
He seems very reserved, but I never thought he was cold. In fact, I'd say at some points he's overly caring about shit.
I think I may have connected the dots. These past few weeks, I've been taking Thelxie for underwater testing every day. The pressure testing makes a lot of noise.
So what in the world
So,
made you think these were
all that about the
unrelated?
disappearing fish? Well, it was probably because of me.
So that's all it was? That actually makes a lot of sense. Wait, so could that mean the child we heard about who walked into the water was also...
Just Fremine preparing for another day of work.
Yes, I think
Problem
that's quite
solved.
likely as
End of
well.
event. Let's go. Quickest
In the end, it was just Fremine.
investigation ever.
Paimon spent all this time imagining what a water imp from the fairy tales might look like, and it all turns out to be just a hoax.
Is that a
I'm
hoax?
sorry. It sounds like
Isn't
I've
a hoax
created a lot
like
of
supposed to be
trouble for everyone
intentionally
else as well.
misleading?
I'll try to finish this commission as soon as possible. Once I'm done, the fish should come back.
I don't think anybody intentionally misled here. It's just
Thanks for offering, but I can't trouble you any
misunderstanding.
more than I already have.
Hey, it's no trouble at all. Didn't you just call us your trustworthy companions? Companions are all about helping each other, you know?
But don't you need to report back to your commissioner?
Nope, that's not how it works. See, Paimon's got these commissioner types all figured out, even though we were just tasked with finding out why the fish had gone missing. If we tell them now that it was all just a misunderstanding, you can bet they'd just immediately hand us another commission to help them get the fish back.
Yeah, we're just really experiencing this kind of thing, that's all.
Exactly! So if we can help you finish up your work and get the fish back, that would save us an extra trip!
Is that what you'd like to do as well?
Yeah, she's right. I mean, if we'd be ordered to do it anyways.
All right, I'll trust your judgment.
It's not just about
Please
identifying the
follow me.
problem
I've made a makeshift
for these
camp over
commissioners,
there.
it's also fixing the problem.
I've stored Thelxie in the tent. He can respond to some simple verbal commands. You can try calling his name and see if he'll come over.
God, steampunk technology is so fucking weird.
Let me give it a try. Hey, Thelxie! Are you there? So that's Fremonet's
So he
version of
speaks in
Thelxie.
binary?
It's also penguin-shaped, just like Pear.
Not binary, Morse?
Yep. Had Thelxie lived in Penguin Town, he'd probably have become great friends with Pear.
Where's Penguin Town?
It's not really anywhere famous or important. Don't worry about it.
Is it in your head?
Thelxie,
That's what it
nice to meet
seems
you.
like. But if there is a Penguin Town in Shneznaya, I'm gonna be so happy. So, can
I
Thelxie
wanted
talk?
to install a language output module, but due
That
to
looks
time
like Morse code,
constraints,
right?
I had
Short,
to give
long,
up on
short,
the
short.
idea. As it stands, Thelxie can only output messages that were pre-written into its motherboard. I haven't given him the ability to convert those messages into discernible words, so he can't really talk to us.
I mean,
just
he
yet.
is talking. We just can't understand him.
No need to get so technical. So basically, you want us to help you complete and install this language module, right?
No, there's no need. That wasn't one of my employer's requests. It was just something I wanted to try.
Oh, there's just something charming about
I
it,
have
just
2
making
other
little
things I'd
noises
your
like
help
that.
with. The first is to do some integration testing on Thelxie's motherboard, to make sure he will be able to function properly in most situations.
That doesn't sound too hard. And what's the other thing?
The other shouldn't take too long either. You'll need to find Thelxie some colorful shells and coral, so I can craft a weapon for him.
A weapon? Will Thelxie have to fight?
Show Thelxie again. Can he
Thelxie
wield
will
a
need to be
weapon?
able to charge forward with a weapon in hand. Like that
I guess he
brave
could, like,
Prince of Legend.
graft it to him.
It's a part of my employer's request.
What an imaginative employer.
Okay,
Naming
so
Thelxie
like,
after a water imp, but
this,
wanting him
in
to
this
look
world,
like a
this is
prince?
why steampunk's so fun-y.
Well, regardless
You create
of his
this, like-
role or species, Thelxie's
Not
purpose
self-aware,
is the same.
self-functioning, but like
Just like Pear,
this
he's
toy
come to this world to serve as
that can
somebody's
just kind of
companion.
move around on its own and respond to commands, verbal
Just
commands,
said something again.
but
He
they
understand
can't
we
set
were
up
just
a
talking
phone
about?
system,
He can
even
react
like
to
just a
certain
normal
key
like
words, but
telephone
unfortunately,
poles and wires
due
and
to
shit.
the lack of a translation module, he still can't quite communicate with us.
That's a pity.
It
But
seems like
anyway,
he's
the
trying to
most important
communicate.
thing
We
right
just
now
don't
is for us to get
understand
to
him.
it.
There's a
Maybe
difference.
Let's start by doing some
I don't know. Why am I
testing
being
on
so hard on
the
Fremonet's amazing?
motherboard. That
Well, I
sounds
guess
like
that's the
something
thing.
we
It's
can
even
do
more
here
amazing
in the
than
camp.
he thinks.
Sounds good. The motherboard is on my workbench, so please follow me.
I guess my problem is just who cares?
Here we go. I have this testing manual, so feel free to reference it if you get stuck. Want to give it a try? It's okay if you don't succeed immediately. I've got a lot of backup boards just in case.
I'll give it a try.
Okay. Knowing you, I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out.
Okay, so is this like... Yeah, this must be like the game for the event. Yay.
You're doing well. Just as I expected.
We've taken on a lot of similar tasks before, you know.
Then let's move on to the underwater part. It's just as I mentioned earlier. We're after colorful shells and coral. Oh, speaking of which, you're both already pretty used to Fontaine's underwater environment.
More or
right?
less.
Okay, that's good.
Actually very fun.
Just let me know if you ever feel uncomfortable. I'll make sure to stay right by your side.
I mentioned this in the Archon quest, but at least I think I did, but I expected the underwater part to be trash, but it was, because most underwater, like, shit is trash, but it actually turned out to be very well done and fun. Or maybe I just have too much trauma from Mario
Should be
64,
right over
which,
there.
ugh.
We'll be able to find something that'll help us with our search. This is it.
Or I suppose any
We
Mario
call this
game,
thing
really.
an echoing conch. It can detect special reflection waves in the water to help us with all kinds of underwater exploration and excavation efforts. Here, try it. Did you notice any interesting places? The echoing conch should have detected some just now. Let's go check them out.
It's just how smooth that is. So, it's not slow, I guess, is the biggest
All right,
thing.
these should be enough. Let's head back to camp. Thank you for staying out here with me all this time.
You must be the employer. I think they brought the
Fremine, you're back.
I think they brought it up
You might have
too
been out diving.
slow.
I'm sorry, Madame d'Estray.
It was too
I
delayed.
must have kept you waiting. I can report, though, that the construction of Thelxie is going quite smoothly.
There's no rush. I'm your employer, not your supervisor.
That
And these two are...
Oh, they're two of my trustworthy companions. They're here to help me work on Thelxie.
is that a
Yes,
like
I see. I suppose
distinction
it's
that
only natural
matters
for
in
someone
most
responsible
jobs?
like you
I feel
to
like
have some
most people
reliable
understand that their
friends.
employer is also their
Really
supervisor.
Nice to meet you, Madame Destray.
At least insofar as if they're not satisfied, that's a problem. And that's a part of a supervisory.
Greetings, my new friends.
role.
Just call me Zuria.
A
You are
pretty
both
name.
so adorable. The sight of you reminds me of little fairies under a cottage roof.
Under a cottage roof. Is there like
Oh, do you
something
really
behind
think
that?
so?
Why specifically a cottage roof? Do I look like a
Of
fairy too?
course. If my
Yeah, I
child
mean with
had
the
friends
white
like you,
and the
then perhaps you wouldn't have
tails,
become so obsessed with the
the
tales
flower
of
in the
water
hair.
nymphs. And I wouldn't have had to trouble Fremine here with this commission.
Obsessed with the tales of water imps?
Ah, so you don't know anything about my request yet? I would have thought Fremine had explained it to you already.
Stuff.
Well,
Fremine
Fremine
knows
told us
about
that it was a private
NDAs.
matter, so he didn't want to just share it willy-nilly.
I see. So Monsieur Fremine is even more discreet than I had thought. As you are assisting him with the project, I believe it'll be beneficial for you to learn more about its vision and history.
Probably.
But it would be quite impolite of me to simply pile all of my troubles on you without your permission. So, would you like to listen to my story?
Yes.
Sure, you can tell us anything. You've already said nice things about us, so we'll try our best to help you get through your troubles.
Ah, what a lovely little fairy. Let
It's
me
Paimon.
think of a way
You
to put my
complimented me, so I'll go to the
situation
ends
into
of the
words.
earth for you.
I'm sure you're already familiar with the tale of the water imps, right? Simply put, parents came up with a story, painting water imps as scary abductors in an effort to convince their children to stay away from the water.
I mean, given how dangerous your
My
water
child
is, that's
is
not
rather special,
a
however.
terrible idea.
While most other children are terrified of Thelxie, he's infatuated with him.
Infatuated? With a water imp? What a brave soul.
Yes, he told me that he thought the water imp might have just been misunderstood. In his mind, instead of singing to abduct children, the water imp actually sang out of a longing for companionship. As a result, he often goes near the water in secret.
Huh. So he wanted to become friends with the water imp so it wouldn't be lonely any longer? What a unique way of thinking.
Thank you, little Paimon. He indeed has always stood out from the crowd. He was actually diagnosed with loneliness syndrome when he was only 8 years old.
Loneliness syndrome? I feel like most people just inherently have that.
Mm-hmm. It's a type of mental disorder. Those affected by it often feel extremely lonely and lose interest in many mundane activities. The
That
syndrome is probably
sounds
what
like
made him so
depression
determined to
caused by
become friends with
loneliness.
the water imp.
Oh no. Is it a very serious disorder?
If you were to become afflicted with the disorder, Paimon, you would only be able to say less than a fraction of the words you're saying to the traveler now.
No! Paimon won't accept that! We would have to find a doctor to help cure Paimon. Paimon
Literally
has
affects your
water for daily
language?
conversations with the traveler, and she
Oh.
won't settle for a single word less!
Good
The
lord.
family doctor has already
I
begun
wonder if
to
that's
treat
high.
my son. But since the disorder is rare, there aren't many good regimens for treatment. He's also developed some new symptoms lately, such as uncontrollable delusions.
Huh? Uncontrollable what now?
Uncontrollable delusions. To put it simply, he can no longer differentiate between fantasy and reality, and spends all his time in his fantasy world.
Then what is he seeing in his fantasy world?
It's a dream that he often mentioned to me when he was younger. I've compiled what I could understand of his recent rambling. It goes a bit like this.
I'm still having trouble coming to terms with this loneliness syndrome. Just like even the inability to
Amazing.
distinguish between fantasy
son
and
came
reality,
up with
like
all
that
of
shit
this?
that happens to
He
people
really
that are just
crafted a lovely
detached
fairy
from the
tale
world.
for Thelxie. It's like a beautiful dream.
But perhaps no beautiful dream can ever
Especially like
last
gamers
long.
that get like way too
see,
into what they're doing.
The story ended with a twist.
My lord, the king is dead.
How could the story end like this? Is that
'Cause
you
he's
fantasizing
depressed.
What caused your son to develop his loneliness syndrome?
Well, it'd be more accurate to say that it was the syndrome that caused such terrible delusions to manifest. But in any case, the biggest problem is the patient eventually loses themselves to the fantasy world of their own creation.
Sounds like some psychiatry could
My
help.
poor child can no longer
Or
differentiate
therapy.
between
Not
imagination
cure,
and
but
reality.
help at least.
He's begun to see himself as Thelxie.
Perhaps in his mind, the loneliness he felt became the same as that of a prince who lost everything he ever loved or stood for.
Well, that's kind of
What?
self-indulgent.
So that's what you
I'm
meant
a
by
prince.
uncontrollable delusions. Then we have to help him snap out of it.
Alas, most of the time he acts as if he can no longer sense or interact with the real world at all. I've had several discussions with the doctor, and we think it is best to try to guide his fantasy.
Guide his fantasy? We need to get some actual, like,
He once
therapists up in
wanted
this
to make a
world.
picture book of his imaginary world. But since the disorder progressed too quickly, he never quite got past the first page of the book. If we could use this book as a breakthrough for his condition. Here, you can take a look.
So Zuria's son also Thelxie as a penguin. Oh, he looks so sad.
How can you tell? You
What
can't
we
see
should
his
do now is
facial
help him
expression.
complete this
He
picture
could be
book.
smiling for all you know.
However, we'll lead the story to a different ending. One where the Water Imp Prince is eventually able to restore his kingdom with the help of his friends. We'll need to chase away his loneliness and sorrow, and let him perceive a world full of hope again. That's what I mean by guiding his fantasy.
But if we just need to finish the picture book, why does Fremine need to make a Thelxie as well?
Because we need to treat the book's story seriously, as if it's a history of things that have really happened. We'll need to go on a journey like Thelxie, and help him regain his crown and country. But my child can no longer go on a journey of his own. This is why I commissioned Fremine here to craft a Thelxie, and then I'll paint the journey with this Thelxie into the picture book.
Ah, like a stand-in for your son! Paimon's starting to get it now. Oh, you really put a lot of thought into this, Zuria. Paimon still has one question, though. Where will we be able to find a Water Imp Kingdom?
There are some ruins on the seabed of the Salacia Plains. I've already asked Fremine to research them for me. We'll be able to use one of the ruins as the kingdom.
Oh, so we'll just need to act out a performance of,
Yeah,
a brave
we haven't.
journey
There's
through
at
the
least
Kingdom of Water Imps.
two
As
very
long as we
prominent
chase away
ruins
the
that we've been
monsters
through
of the
already.
ruins, it'll count as chasing away the monsters in the Water Imp Kingdom, right?
Sadly, no. We won't just be putting on a performance. It's just as Zuria said. We need to take this seriously. And the only way we can take this seriously is if we choose to believe everything that's happening is real.
The implication here being that if you're putting on a performance, you're not being serious. That's a fundamental
making it a
misunderstanding of
fully
what
immersive
acting is, but okay.
Oh, neither of those really sound right. Well, either way, we'll still be able to help, right?
I guess.
It's all right. There's no need to get that serious. It's not a big deal. I believe in my son. We can just see this as him wanting to stay asleep for a bit longer, because he's so enamored with his dream.
Zuria.
Keep your spirits up, everyone. If we were to look troubled, my son is sure to become anxious as well. I should be heading back right about now to check on my son. We temporarily moved to a place on the hill over there, so my son will have a better spot to convalesce. It's not far from the water, and there's also a great view. Feel free to come find me if anything urgent comes up.
Understood. There's also one last thing. Since these two friends were able to help me out, I've made some more progress on Thelxie. I estimate that he should be ready sometime tomorrow.
Damn, that's a quick
great
turnaround.
news. I must thank you all. With that in mind, how about we meet here in 2 days' time to head to the Kingdom of Water Imps?
Sounds good.
All right, everyone. Let's meet again in another 2 days.
Zuria sure is a brave and optimistic lady. Fremine, do you think her plan will work out?
Let's discuss that over by the tent. There were a few things that I didn't bring up because the Madame was here.
What is it, Fremine? What did you want to say?
If you don't mind me asking, I would like the two of you to mentally prepare yourselves.
For what?
This is the first time that you've met anyone with the syndrome, right? I know you two are both really strong and will do everything you can to help the child. But with the syndrome being the way it is, if things don't...
I mean, we should understand that. We're not fucking
If
therapists.
things don't quite turn out as we wish, I hope you'll be able to accept the outcome and not put too much blame on yourselves.
Fremine, why do you bring this up all of a sudden? Didn't we just promise Zuria that we'll be optimistic about everything working out?
To her face.
It's not that I'm not optimistic. It's just...
You know this illness really well?
Ah, so that's why you looked like you knew exactly what she was talking about. Wait, Fremine, don't tell Paimon that you also...
No. Please don't misunderstand. I've never had it. I've just seen many cases of it at the House of the Hearth, back when we lived under the previous director.
Okay, so
They say there are
Fremine
many
did
factors surrounding the development of the
was there
souls.
under the previous director.
I've
How
heard
old
everything
was he?
from
So how old is
hereditary
Arlecchino?
factors and one state of
Arlecchino isn't
mind
really that old
to
then.
environmental factors and even ley line disorder effects. Some even say it could be caused by contamination from god remains. And from the cases
Like,
I've
she
seen,
might only be a few
there
years older than
weren't many
Fremine. That's
positive
interesting.
outcomes. In the worst cases, the patient could even pass away.
What? It could get that serious? And here Paimon thought they'd just stop talking as much.
Yeah, that's just the nature of it. So, if you'll find it difficult to cope with the worst case scenario, I would prefer that you back out right now. I don't want you to help only to feel like you failed.
I've seen all kinds of strange and difficult things in
that's
life.
right. Paimon's seen all of those things too. No matter how hard it might get, we won't be scared.
Really?
It's not a matter of being scared.
Then in that case,
He just explained it's
let's
about
see this real-life fantasy adventure together to the end.
blaming yourself for something you really couldn't control at
But
all.
Paimon has a question. If this illness can really be as bad as you've described, then do you really think Zuria's method will be able to help? After all, we'll just be using a toy as Thelxie and some ruins as the Kingdom of Water Imps. The whole adventure will only be turned into a picture book for her son to read.
Well, I think it should be able to do something. To harbor a fantasy means that the child wants to save himself somehow. The only reason he's allowed his dream kingdom to fall is because he's lost control of his heart. But if we can help him regain control and escape from the darkness, we'll be able to change his world. Like helping someone who's lost their voice be able to speak again.
Or he could sink deeper into his
Paimon sees
fantasy.
what you're saying now. Huh. How do you understand all of this so well, Fremine?
Well, maybe because I've also had many of my own dreams in the past. I even had my own fairy tale world, much like that boy's. I was able to draw a lot of support from it, so I believe in the power of fantasy worlds.
So the penguin town you mentioned was not real? That's disappointing.
So you remembered.
We talked about it like 10 minutes ago.
What Penguin Town? Why doesn't Paimon remember? Is that also a fairy tale world? Don't leave Paimon in the dark! Hey, why did you put that on?
It's just one of my personal quirks. Please pay it no mind. Anyway, Penguin Town is a peaceful place with lots of penguin residents. They're all really good at making clockwork toys. And Pear is the town's triumphant hero, as well as the one who quietly protects the whole place.
How can you be a triumphant hero and also quietly protect the whole place? If you're a triumphant hero, doesn't that mean that people probably know you protect the place?
Because
He's not very quiet.
I needed him. So it's not so much that I made Pear, as Pear chose me as his friend.
Fremine, are you sure you're not losing control of your fantasies as well?
No, I don't think so. I can still differentiate between fantasy and reality. I just believe that the fairy tale world of my dreams must also exist somewhere.
Yeah, in your
It
head.
might just be hidden, which is why it's difficult to see. Or it will only reveal itself at very specific times.
Specific times? Like when you put on your diving helmet?
Yeah, that's the general idea of it.
Really? Paimon just said that because you put on your helmet.
Well, you put
Have
two
you
and two
ever
together.
observed the surface world from underwater? It's as if you're viewing a whole different world from the outside. It's a very surreal feeling. Both alienating, but also as if you're being protected by something. I have a similar feeling when I put on my diving helmet. In those moments, it's possible to see some truly wondrous things, as if a fairy tale has become reality. It's almost like a sort of miracle.
Really? Like a miracle?
Now I want to try on your helmet too.
Well, if that's in order.
I'm just kidding.
Hey, don't you still need time to work on Thelxie's weapon? We don't want to keep you from finishing your commission.
Right. I still have to collect some tools I'll need to craft the weapon. I've got to finish everything before tomorrow. Thank you for reminding me, Paimon. I'm sure there'll be other opportunities for you to try my helmet. Thanks for all of your help. I'll be off for now. Let's meet up here again in 2 days.
Okay. Wonder what that says. Oh. Some cool art.
Is your child feeling any better?
Thank you for your concern, Fremine. His condition is fairly stable. The family doctor said we might be able to take him out for a stroll today.
Zuria, Fremine, we're here!
Seems like everyone's arrived now.
Not quite. Aren't we missing someone? But Paimon has a guess where he might be. Hey, Thelxie!
Yeah, that works.
Whoa! Thelxie's got himself a sword and a shield now. He's looking sharp.
Indeed. With his weapons in hand, Thelxie looks more formidable than ever. You've really outdone yourself, Fremine.
We helped too.
Yes, you really
Please,
have a good eye for materials.
make sure you praise me.
Everything you found was high quality. Speaking of which, Zuria just told me that she wants to end the adventure with the coronation ceremony. So, could I also trouble you with finding some materials for the crown? You can just keep an eye out for them on our way to the ruins. I was planning to collect the materials myself, but then I realized you might be able to find some prettier ones than what I could get my hands on.
Why? Aren't you the diver? The pro diver? Consider it done.
Like everything's ready to go. Shall we head out?
Please wait a moment. I was just thinking. Since Thelxie has already shown us his brand new appearance, we may already be able to draw a new page in the picture book. What do you think?
Ooh, Paimon's excited now.
What should we draw on the page?
Why don't we use the story we know as a reference? Just make the atmosphere a bit less grim.
So we'll take out the sad parts and replace them with happier stuff? Sounds great to Paimon.
All right, I'll give it a try. I'm not very adept at drawing, but I've seen a lot of art during my work. Now, as far as the actual content of the drawing, please tell me what you'd like to see.
Let me think. We can draw the weapon. The prince has picked up the Sword of Courage and the Shield of
That's not a sword.
Perseverance,
He clearly
which
has like a
proves he has
spear or
crossed the
lance
mire
or
of
pole
doubt,
arm or something.
and now is ready to wage war against the darkness.
Okay, I'll add the weapons. Anything else?
Paimon wants to give him some friends. Thelxie's got some friends by his side now, so he's no longer fighting alone.
Okay, I'll also draw some companions. Anything else?
Wow, it's a really good sketch.
Color. Ah, color, yes, that's really important. The road in front of him now will no longer be just grayscale, but bursting with color and hope.
I mean, is it
Who would have
grayscale?
thought the page could have become so
I
inspiring?
mean, the color was a little dull, but I wouldn't say it was
Wonderful. Splendid
grayscale.
ideas, everyone.
Great! Everyone looks super pumped up. Thelxie most of all.
Are you seeing this, my son? Are you feeling inspired by this as well?
I'm sure he is, Zarya. And this is still just the first page.
That's right! Paimon can't wait to see the picture book when it's all finished. We should finish it as soon as possible and keep up the belief and hope in our hearts.
Mm-hmm. I'm starting to look forward to it as well. So let's get the show on the road and head towards the Kingdom of Water Imps.
Yay! Thelxie's fantastic adventures begin now!
Oh, they just take me there. Okay. How thoughtful.
Look! Those are materials that we can use for the crown, right? Let's get some for Fremine.
These should be enough. I knew you'd have a knack for finding the best materials. We shouldn't need anything else to head to the Kingdom of Water Imps.
Oh, is that the entrance to the underwater ruins ahead?
Salting. Good lord.
So these are the underwater ruins that Fremine found. They're pretty amazing, but still not exactly the kind that Paimon was imagining.
This is the Kingdom of Water Imps, Paimon, not ruins.
Oh, yeah, Paimon knows. It's just... Paimon thought we'd actually see a fairy tale world. Like with the water imps' colorful houses. And
But it doesn't exist.
I'm sorry. I was hoping to put up some decorations, but ran out of time to do it by myself.
Yeah, it's okay. It's fantasy time now. That would be ridiculous.
Fantasy mode.
Seems like the travelers already got the gist of things. You should do your best too, Paimon.
Yeah, you fucking idiot.
Don't underestimate Paimon. Paimon can flip the switch too. Now entering Paimon Fantasy Mode! Ahem. Young adventurers, 'tis Paimon, guardian goddess of this land. State your goals and intentions for visiting this nation.
Fuck out of my way.
We are the companions of Prince Thelxie, your Divine Highness. We have come to help him reclaim the glory that he has lost.
Oh, reclaiming your glory? Thy goddess here has golden glory, silver glory, and bronze glory. Which is it that the prince has lost?
Huh?
Why would you ever be like, oh yeah, the lesser glory he lost? Did you break character?
Goddess's test! From your responses, the goddess has concluded that you're all brave adventurers without the taint of greed in your hearts.
Of all people.
You are worthy of everyone's respect. So please accept the goddess's reward. The goddess will now bestow all 3 types of glory upon you. And as for this prince, the goddess will also bestow upon you the rainbow glory, so your future will always be filled with light.
My gratitude to your Divine Highness for such generous blessings. Power is now surging through every part of my body.
Me too. Is this the divine inspiration of legend?
All thanks to the power of Goddess Paimon.
Now, adventurers, forge bravely ahead and defeat the monsters that have taken over the kingdom. You will be sure to find that which you seek.
Aren't you the goddess around here? Should this be something you're doing? Seems like you're just fucking lazy to me.
Please be careful, brave. Just ahead are some evil enemies that have invaded the kingdom of Water Imps.
you're made of. Look alive! Written in the stars. Deeper history! You asked for it.
We're under attack again. It's a Lawitcher of the deep.
There's no need to fear, my friends. His Highness is so strong now that even a Divinitrol of the deep will pose no threat to him.
Pretty sure I'm supposed to be doing something with the penguin,
Scatter!
but they didn't really design the fight with the needing to do that in mind.
So have we defeated the evil monsters and reclaimed the kingdom of water imps?
Yes, it should now be time for us to attend.
Aren't you
Thelxie's
supposed to tell us that,
coronation
Goddess
ceremony.
Paimon?
The only thing is, I didn't expect this to go so smoothly. I thought it would have taken longer for us to reach the heart of the ruins.
We haven't even gone anywhere. We just
It was
entered.
my mistake. I should have told Fremine earlier that we would also need a crown.
It's all because the Traveler and Goddess Paimon were too strong. We just eradicated all the
That
monsters
is
in one go.
50%
okay,
true,
Zarya.
actually.
We can come back again once I've made the crown.
Then I must thank all of you again for taking the time, and you too, Thelxie, my child.
That's okay.
Thelxie's turning out to be a real expert at fighting.
He just stood
I don't
there.
think
Not
there's
that
anything
that
that
was
will
his
be able
fault.
to stop him. He's like a true prince now.
Yes, I agree as well.
Let's head back to camp for now. I asked the Traveler to search for some materials on the way because I want to make the crown as soon as possible.
We can add an update to Thelxie's fantastic adventures as well. Now that we've reclaimed the kingdom of water imps, it's time for us to draw some new scenes in the picture book.
So I gotta come back here.
Zarya and Fremine, why don't we draw the new pages first? Paimon really wants to update the picture book.
You just want to see someone draw
Hey,
Goddess
you
Paimon.
didn't have to say it out loud.
Or you didn't have to say it at all.
No problem. I'm happy to oblige. Then in that case, the story today should go something like this. After overcoming many obstacles, Prince Thelxie and his brave companions finally arrived at the entrance to the Kingdom of Water Imps. At this time, the little fairy in the group, Paimon, revealed her true goddess form to her companions.
Woohoo! The goddess has arrived! She praised the companions for their purity, and to reward them, she bestowed upon them many blessings, and even prayed that the prince would be able to fulfill his goal.
Bathed under the goddess's glory, the prince and his companions charged into the bastion of evil, chased away the monsters, and rescued the pretty water imps from their imprisonment. The prince finally managed to reclaim his kingdom. But as for the crown...
Oh no, the crown isn't ready yet!
No. The crown was within the prince's reach, but the monsters took it with them as they fled. They haven't given up and are sure to return, but the prince is certain to reclaim the crown the next time they fight. The brilliant rainbow shall descend onto the kingdom once more.
I gotta be honest.
Oh, and Paimon can almost see it all happening now!
Who cares?
Whoa, the pages are beautiful! Zarya's really talented at drawing.
Thank you, everyone. We've also completed the second page of the picture book now. Thelxie's journey is one step closer to its end, and the promised coronation. My child, you'll also be able to brighten up when that time comes, right?
I'm sure he will, Zarya. Who knows? Perhaps the doctor will already have some good news for you when you get back home today.
I sure hope so, Your Divine Highness. Oh, Fremine, about the time you'll need for the crown.
Please don't worry. One day should be more than enough.
Ah, then I must thank you for your hard work. All right, let's rendezvous here in another 2 days' time for our final adventure, okay? And
Good.
see you in 2 days, my lovely friends.
Alright, it's about time we start heading off too. You've still got some work to do, right, Fremine?
Yeah, I'll need to go to the city shortly to get some parts for the base of the crown. I want to try out a few different designs and choose the one that looks the best.
You're really dedicated.
Yeah. Paimon knew
I
that you
wouldn't
didn't
dare say
often take
Fremine is
commissions
really
from
dedicated
others,
as to
but
refer
Paimon
to
had no
you in the
idea
third
you'd be
person
so
while talking
dedicated
to your
once you're on the
face,
job.
as that is very rude.
Well, about that, it might be because...
Because what?
It's because... I hope...
What's the matter? And what's with that look on your face? You're turning red, and it looks like you're about to run away and put your helmet on again.
Yes, let's tease him about his
am I turning red?
anxious habit. Don't tease him, Paimon.
All right. We won't bother you anymore for today, Fremine. Let's see each
Just
other in
being
2
an
days' time.
unfunny asshole.
Okay, thank you. See you in 2 days.
See ya.
I hope that everyone who's found themselves in a dark place would be able to see something beautiful and experience a miracle for themselves.
Today's the final day of Thelxie's fantastic adventures. Let's go find Fremine and his
Fantastic
camp.
is a gross exaggeration.
Hey, Fremine! Thelxie! We're here!
Hello, Paimon. Hello, traveler.
Is the crown ready?
Yes, we're just waiting for Zuria now. She hasn't arrived yet.
Then let's wait
You know,
for her a little while.
It's
Or
not that Fremine is a
actually,
bad
maybe
character.
we can
He's
go
not.
find her.
But
It's not
I
too
think
far
there's this
from here
misunderstanding
anyway.
that
Didn't
just
you
because a
say
character
she
is
just
good,
lives on
that
the
they can
hill over there?
carry an event like this,
Traveler, Paimon,
Oh, and speaking of,
and he can't.
found you two at long last. I'm so glad that you both are all right.
When Fremine is by himself,
why
he
are
is
you
a
here, Miss Delaroche?
bore.
And what could have happened to us?
He's more of a
What
nice
could have happened?
balancing
That water imp Thelxie, of course. After I gave you that
elements
commission the other day,
in a group
I
dynamic.
began to get worried and went asking about the boy that went missing.
Oh,
Otherwise, he
that's
just talks
we've
like
got
this
it
all the
figured out now.
time.
The boy
And
you
it
heard
makes me
about was just
tired
Fremine.
and
Even the
bored
missing fish was his
that I'm in
fault.
his
Don't worry,
presence.
we'll help you get the fish back as soon as we're done with this job.
Oh, sorry about that.
Because
I've
his
been
emotional
diving in the
range
area
is
recently.
just depressed.
Huh? Fremine diving? No, that's not what happened at all. I've heard a completely different account. What I was told is that about a month ago, a child tied a bunch of heavy seashells onto his body and walked into this open stretch of water. He never came back. What could that be if not that water imp's work?
Are you sure?
100% sure. I've confirmed the account with several veteran fishermen I know. The child was only 8 years old. His name was Lescaut Destray.
Wait,
The stray.
let's go to Stray?
Yeah, that's the name. They say the family took on the name after moving to the city from a place called Stray. Anyway, his mother is a pretty famous art dealer, while his father passed away from an accident many years ago. Well, naturally, his mother was devastated by the incident and fell terribly ill. It's said that she left the court of Fontaine, and no one knows where she's gone.
Oh.
It can't be, right?
Oh.
Lescaut Destray?
Oh.
Zuria Destray? It must be some
Yeah.
sort of a
It's
coincidence.
yeah, Paimon, a fucking
I'm sorry,
coincidence.
miss. We've got to go check on something right now.
Oh, I see.
Well,
Well, you go on ahead.
I just came to make sure that you're both all right. I'll head back then. Please remember to take care.
The twist is certainly very good. Just unfortunate that I had to sleepwalk through the entire event before the twist happened.
Excuse us. Is anyone here? Is this Madame Destray's place?
Who are you? I have a patient here who needs quiet bed rest. Please leave us be unless you have anything urgent to report.
Who's the patient? Please violate HIPAA.
This is the residence of Zuria Destry, and I am Jala Khan, her family doctor.
Oh, Destry.
What did you mean by
We're
your
looking for
question
Zuria
just now?
Destray.
Who else could be my patient?
Your patient should be Zuria's son, right? She told us herself that her son had contracted loneliness syndrome.
No, you're right. Young Master Lescaut did have that illness once upon a time, but he's... Well, the young master's no longer with us. And now the Madame has come down with the same illness. Are you her friends, by any chance? Oh. So, when she had requested time to go out over the past few days, it was so she could spend them with you.
So, if I'm understanding this right, the one who's suffering from uncontrollable delusions is the Madame herself? She believes her son is still alive?
That is correct. When the young master disappeared, she was organizing an art exhibit that she had specifically prepared for him. But since she had to leave the house, she was
Oh, no wonder
unable
she's
to
such
see
a
her
good
son
artist.
One last time. That might have been the trigger for her regret. Or perhaps the family's fall into loneliness and grief was inevitable as soon as the old master passed away. First the son, and then the mother.
But how could that be? She really looked like she had a handle on everything. Her smile was so lovely, and she even told us to stay optimistic. But you're saying she...
Those actions are proof that she can no longer differentiate between fantasy and reality.
Then all the other things that she told us about her son, were those fake too?
No, those were all real. Although, they were all things that happened before the young master left us for good. Madame's time has just never moved forward since his passing.
I see. So after her son left, she created a fantasy world where her son was still with her. She was looking for a way to cure his illness when she ran into us.
So how's Zuria now? Didn't
She
motherfucker
has
just tell
been in
you
a
he
good
needs
mood the
to?
past
She needs
few
bed
days,
rest.
even humming a song when she returned from her stroll. She even began discussing with me the idea of using deliberate guidance to ease the illness. It was all going well, until last night. She spent a whole night staring at the shell the young master left behind, and the words that he had inscribed onto it. Then she broke down once more. I prescribed some sedatives, and she's currently resting.
But then what should we do? How can we help her? There has to be something we can do.
Don't panic, Paimon. Even though this is a devastating piece of news, we must all calm down first.
I mean, you seem calm
What should we do? I need
because
to think.
I'm not even sure if it's possible this character could sound like hysterical.
The children who lived in it. Those patients. And what their doctors said back then. What if... Dr. Jalakan, have you seen a picture book? The Madame should have brought it back with her.
Are you thinking about trying the guidance therapy she talked to me about before? It's worth a shot.
Is it?
I'll go get the book.
I'm sorry, you're a... What kind of doctor are you?
Yes.
Physician and
This is it.
psychiatrist? Still need to finish the
That's
adventure in
right.
the picture book.
If what Dr. Jalakan said was true, the past few days have been very helpful to Zuria. So we should complete this journey. We need to show her that her child has found a happy ending in the world of her dreams.
Even if you fucking did it in real life,
But wouldn't that
Jesus.
just make it harder for her to accept reality?
One must first face reality before accepting it. The Madame has been crushed by her feelings of grief and can no longer bring herself to face reality. Our first priority would be to get her out of this state.
Right. Before today, I had thought she wanted to use Thelxie's fantastic adventures to save her son. But now, I think she might need it to save herself.
Isn't that what we've been getting at for the past 10 minutes?
And if we could
Or
complete
5
it,
minutes, I don't
we
even know.
should be able to give her some feeling
It
of
just feels like it's been going on
inspiration and
forever.
closure. Maybe those feelings would be enough to give her some courage to face reality again.
We'll have to give it a try.
There's no time to waste. Let's set off right away.
We're here again. This is the final part of Thelxie's journey, but the most important person is missing.
Is she, though? This is
Everyone,
Thelxie's journey, and
please don't be
Thelxie
so
appears
down
to
and
be
gloomy.
here.
Remember what she told us?
Oh,
If we
Pot
were to
calling
feel
the kettle
troubled,
black.
The patient would become anxious as well.
You're right. Paimon needs to smile. If we have to
If
give
Fremene's the
something
one
to
telling you
Zuria,
not to be
it
dark
should
and
be our
gloomy,
smiles.
you
We have to keep smiling
need
as
to
we finish
evaluate
this
yourself.
adventure. And then she'll be able to recover, right, everyone?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure she will.
Yeah, because Fremene is somehow now a licensed
Be
therapist.
careful, brave adventurers. Here come the evil monsters that stole the crown. There. The deep-sea Cyclops. Let's beat them up.
Watch out, everyone! They're coming at us again!
It's Julie here. Prince Thelxie looks... Oh, this is the final enemy, right?
Enemies.
Raise the crown for you now, your highness. Come on. You asked for it.
I'm sorry. I have to go. I made a promise to my friends, and I'm already very late.
But Madame, you're still...
Don't try to stop me. Today's the most important day for treating Thelxie. We'll use the guidance method. Didn't you also say that you'd think it'd work?
I'm not trying to stop
Treating
you, Madame.
Thelxie.
It's
Let me
just-
treat you.
Could you tell me the name of your child?
Dr. Jalican, how can you forget the name of your own
Oh.
patient? His name is Thelxie. He's the prince of the kingdom of water imps. We will go today
I don't think
to
I
reclaim his
put
crown
that together
and attend
before
his
that
coronation
she thought
ceremony.
that was her.
I see.
Her kid was Thelxie. The
Madame.
fucking penguin.
Please rest assured, everything is still on schedule. Your friends have already departed to find... Wait, look. They've already returned.
Zuria! We've retrieved the crown!
Without you. Haha. Most exciting part. We did it without
Paimon,
you.
Everyone, have you really?
Yeah.
Yes, but the coronation ceremony still hasn't taken place, because we felt like you should be the one to preside over it.
Wonderful. How wonderful. Thelxie, my child, are you hearing this? Everything you lost will now come back to you, and soon, very soon, you will never be lonely again.
And the last page of the picture book. It's still waiting for you to illustrate in color.
Right, the picture book. But I don't know what I should put on the last page.
Don't worry, Thelxie and his friends all know what should go on it. Get ready, Zuria. We'll describe everything for you.
Okay.
At last, Thelxie and his friends were able to drive off the final invading monsters and achieve a dashing victory. Their success was complete, and the recovered crown resplendent.
The water imps, finally returning to their homes, showered the prince with love and applause as he greeted them. They once again offered their precious shells to the prince and reconstructed the rainbow bridge of old. As he watched the scene unfold, the prince could not help but be touched by its beauty.
And the fact that people just gave him their riches.
The prince stepped onto the rainbow bridge
And their gifts.
took a good look at all the friends who had gone on the journey with him. There stood the traveler, Goddess Paimon, Fremine, and... Where's the last person? The prince looked frantically around.
We didn't get
but
shit.
could not find the person he wanted to see most. At that moment, the person suddenly appeared on the other side of the bridge. She walked towards him with a smile and slowly lifted her veil.
The prince could not hold back his tears. He recognized then that the mysterious person that had been by his side the whole time was none other than his mother. Surya walked across the bridge and placed the crown above the prince's head. She smiled down upon him as she said, "My prince, my king, you shall never, ever need to feel lonely again."
That's the end of the story, Zarya.
Thank you. Thank you all. I am so sorry, my child. Maman should have spent more time with you.
Maman?
Did you hear the story?
Is that like a French...
You'll never
pet
have to
name
feel
for mother?
lonely again.
I don't think I've ever heard that before. I need to know what it's saying.
Maman loves you too.
What's happening? Is Zarya talking to Thelxie?
What is he saying? I can't read
Quick,
Morse code.
Put on my diving helmet. There's a transcription module in it that's compatible with Thelxie's output signals. You should be able to use it to understand what Thelxie's saying.
Of course, this technology is in his diving helmet for some reason. So that's what Thelxie's
Mama.
saying.
Mama loves you too.
But I love you more, Mamo.
Wait, what the fuck?
What? Did you see something?
Yeah, I'm tripping balls here.
I'm getting a little sleepy. If it's time for bed, can you hum a lullaby to me again?
Oh, that's so sad.
Of course, my dearest child. As long as you want to hear it, Mama will always hum for you.
Thank you, Mammon. Your lullaby has always been my favorite. Now that I've heard it, I can return to my dream.
Oh man, but
and to
it's
the
the
kingdom of water and
Hoyoverse does this where like they'll have a shitty
My
story,
darling.
but
Please
it
don't
makes it
forget.
interesting by going, "Oh yeah, by the way, the
always
child's
love
dead,"
you.
and you're like, "Well, that
My
made me
love
interested," but
is
like relying on extreme shock
Greater than the entire distance
to like
between here
bring you
and
back
the kingdom
in
of water
after
imps.
having left because the buildup was so
Forget
dull.
Mammon. And so is my love for you. Greater than the entire distance between here and the kingdom of water imps. Good night, Mammon.
Like one thing I think would have been a nice
Traveler,
contrast
Paimon,
that should have
you're
been
here.
explored more. That's, I don't know if this was done on purpose, but if it was, they really didn't
From Zarya?
push the idea enough.
If
It's,
it's not good news, Paimon doesn't want to hear
you have
it.
an orphan
Don't
child
worry, it's definitely great
working with
news.
a what's a
The
what's
Madame
a
came
mother
here for
that's
a
lost
visit
her.
just
I mean, it's a
now with her
widower who
doctor.
then
Color has returned to her cheeks,
not widower.
and she sounded full of energy as well. She said she'd like
A
to
widow-
return
a
to the
widow.
court to continue hosting the art exhibit. But this time, she'll
widow
work with
who's
her
lost
doctor
her
to exhibit some
child.
picture books
Orphan
related
mother?
to the illness. Of course,
But, like,
Thelxie's
opposite
fantastic
situations.
adventures and the guidance therapy will be included in the exhibit as well.
But, like, I
She'd
feel like
to
it's
use
not
her
even, like,
experience
mentioned.
to help others.
It's just, oh, yeah, this
Wonderful!
makes sense that Fremine would be
So it wasn't
one of the
bad news
characters
after
here.
all.
Mm-hmm. Here, please take this picture book with you. The Madame wanted you to have it. If at some point in the future you were to
Could have
run
learned
into
more about
someone with similar
Fremine's
troubles,
like passes. He
she hopes the
reflected
book would be of
upon
use to
how
you.
he didn't have parents.
This is her son's story, right? Is it really okay to give the book to us?
Don't worry, it's just a
Sorry,
copy.
he has father, but
She still has the
I
original.
mean, you know.
It's extremely important to her.
Alright, then there's no problem. It feels good knowing we've contributed to something important. Paimon definitely didn't expect the fantasy adventure to be so useful. Paimon was a little worried about how everything would turn out. After all, fantasy is just fantasy.
Paimon, do you know what the Madame said? She said that at the moment when she placed the crown on Thelxie's head, she felt like she really saw something beautiful. Her child had returned, and he told her that he loved her.
Yeah, because her mind really wanted that
She
to
also
happen.
said that was when she was finally able to bid farewell
Of course, we
to
also
her
saw
son.
it too, but I'm pretty sure we were on
She
acid.
felt like at that moment, she was healed by some mystical power, and she was filled with courage from head to toe.
Oh, really? But could that just be another part of her fantasy?
Even if it is, as long as she
Perhaps.
accepts that her
But if
fantasy
fantasy
is
is just fantasy, and the fantasy world is not real, then how could it still grant us these powers that we can continue to use in the real world?
because you've put fantasy like
A
transparently over
descent
the
of
world.
the fairy tale world
Not
into the
transparently,
real
but
world. At that time,
Juxtaposed?
the wondrous fairy tale temporarily became reality and influenced real things in our world. That has to be what happened.
Okay.
You saw it too, didn't you?
Remine's got his own issues he needs to
Can't
work
be
out.
What happened, right? There's just no way. Wouldn't it be like a miracle if that really happened?
Yes, I suppose that would be a miracle. I hope that everyone who's found themselves in a dark place would be able to see something beautiful and experience a miracle for themselves.
Didn't he say that earlier? Was he like practicing that line for when he could say it to us later? And then walk away all cool? Like, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Well, that was a thing.